And today we have a support game that we're going to review, and we're going to review Penguin, which in my opinion is one of the support that impressed me the most recently, one that really grinded the game and really has become super strong, and also part of the team that win the latest Nation League, part of the England team. It was a support for this team, and here he's going to play with Neft, which is carry in Team Immune, playing against like Ertoka and Two Hands. Two also well-known player in the scene, so that should be interesting. We do have a matchup of FaZe Murdoch against Zinx Drongo, so Zinx pretty strong overall, and also but still there is a lot of poke to be done, like the energy lance with the enhanced auto attack from the Murdoch can be like a good poking solution, but naturally if you poke more the Drongo can be healed by the Zinx. So that should be interesting. Very aggressive lane against them though, with the Zinx and the Drongo. And here you can see like Neft already like poking a little bit, poking more toward the Zinx, which is what you should be doing because the Zinx cannot heal herself. And here we go for the energy lance. We don't step forward because we would have taken a lot of damage back. So we don't even get like the benefit, and that's something that you have to be kind of careful. Though, ooh, we get a gank from Sparrow only at level 2, and so we're gonna follow that up. We don't have the energy lance. That forced the flash on the Murdoch. Should force the flash of Ertoka. And here, very nice follow-up on the gank. Sparrow only doing like a very strong gank, to be fair. But I don't know if you catch what Penguin does here. As soon as Ertoka go inside the pit, Penguin doesn't follow with everyone and start to walk towards the 3 camp, because he knows that if Ertoka wants to flash over the wall, he will be ready to capture him, to completely stop any potential and possibility. So in the end, Sparrow only is gonna get picked up, but here like the dual lane is in a good spot. We're looking at crashing that wave, to be honest, to get like a little bit the wave reset. Gold buff is not up yet because we get like a lot of pressure, so we're just gonna step back. There is no reason to just like stay in front of the tower, and here they're gonna reset. They're not gonna play for that gold buff simply because they got the first blood, and so Neft is gonna get like buy, and you can see he already get the Ironwood Warbow, which will allow them to be very, very aggressive against that dual lane, and that's much more important than getting the gold buff. And so Penguin is gonna reset also to match. And so now, like you see, they come back. The opposition only have an energy instrument short sword, while they have 2 tier 2 item, and now they can like maybe catch that wave so it doesn't crash. As you can see, like Neft stop the crash, and now they can have a freeze if they want. Well, Two Hands and Ertoka have like a big deficit when it comes to actual itemization. So now we're just gonna keep like the freeze. There is no reason to do anything else. They do lose the gold buff for that, but they force the enemy team to go back to base. As you can see, the Two Hands has gone back to base, but he has a bit of life steal, but overall in terms of like power is slightly down, and it's terms of attack speed as well. While on the other side, we do have Ertoka that hasn't gone for the reset yet, so they should be like dominating like any fight they go for it. And you can see how Penguin goes mainly for the Zinx, because like most of the poke damage would be like nullified by the heal if it was going onto the Drongo. And here we're playing. The wave is slow pushing, so we're looking at probably crashing the next wave. Since it's not a cannon wave, we have Sparrow only like coming back to that dual lane. So we're playing it a little bit slow here because we want to maybe like leave some time for Sparrow only to go around. But as they saw Sparrow only, they're just gonna crash here to help with the invade of Sparrow only on the 3 camp. And here, since we have Sparrow only that is covering, you can see that how Neft and Penguin still like play pretty aggressive, but Penguins just stay like slightly behind because he still has the range for the energy lance, but he also want to pull back Neft if needed. No, we don't have Sparrow only anymore, so we have to respect a little bit. We cannot be like just run down aggressive. And here we get like some good poke. We're gonna try like to follow up the poke. Gonna try to body block. You can see we also get like the invisibility, and here we just like keep the distance to be able to pull if it's needed. And here we're gonna pull, and we just wait for the last minute. Sparrow only is coming back. And we try to get the root. That's gonna be the root. The gag grenade is used, but it's gonna be a good follow-up. And overall, like, as a phase, your job is not really like to create any crazy stuff. It's just to... And as a support in general, I would even argue, is really like about always be there, use your ability at the right moment, support very well your teammates, and just like be a big reason for your opponent. And so far, like you can see, Penguin not doing anything fancy, just supporting correctly. And we're gonna max the Psychic Flare, or maybe not, but at least like here we see that we have Psychic Flare level 2. And I'm curious if it's going to be a level 3. And yeah, so we're maxing the Psychic Flare, maxing the Q spell to get like more damage if people dive onto his carry, I assume. And also like for himself, if he's in melee range, he can like deal more damage. And here we're coming back. Two Hands is going again for the gold buff. Here Neft kind of want to try to contest that. They have the level advantage and he's going to try to go. And I'm not sure who got it. And here we do have Penguin like bringing Neft up. And once again here, we're not looking like, despite the fact that they're ahead, if we look at Intimidation, Neft already has the Sky Splitter finish, so they're much stronger. They don't just like fully run down the dual lane because, well, you don't know where is the enemy jungler, so you have to respect that a little bit. And now that Power Only is around, we're going to look for the aggression, gonna get some damage, we get the subjugate. We're gonna try like to body block, but the body block is gonna be like very expensive. Two Hand is gonna go back. I don't think Neft is close to get his level 6, so there is no opportunity to get the long arm of the low here to be able to finish it. But to be honest, Power Only applying a lot of pressure onto that dual lane, which makes the dual lane very easy to play for the side of Penguin and Neft. But at the same time is just like also your job when the jungler focus your lane so much is to be ready to follow that up nicely. And here we can see Penguin tanking a little bit Fengtus to spread the damage overall on multiple teammates. Maybe that also Power Only if he didn't want to back immediately after to be able to get a little bit more health in the jungle. That's little thing like that that will make your teammate loves you, so something that you can look for. And here we can see that the Marshal is being completed. So Marshal is done. And now like you see like Ertoka and Two Hands, the item they have, they don't have finished their first item. While Neft is already like an item plus a tier 2 item plus Marshal finish. Here they can just run down the opposition and probably even win the 2v3 if the enemy jungler comes. So I would assume here, looking at Penguin and Neft, they're probably going to look at applying a little bit of pressure, maybe looking for this tier 1 tower because they're super far ahead. Here we can see though, before we go for the wave, we actually put the ward on the 3 camp. Always cover your site before you look for the aggression, and as we were talking about. And here you can see like Penguin playing slightly like behind, be ready to pull in case someone go on the Murloc, because if he was stepping up to damage that tower, that was maybe an opportunity for the enemy jungler to be aggressive. And so here we see Ertoka, we got the tower. So far this dual lane is playing like thanks to the gank of Power Only. And now we're gonna go for the rotation. We're gonna go into melee range for the Psychic Flare. And you can see we just wait for quite a long time here. We still have the Energy Lance available. And now we're gonna go for it. And that's maybe gonna be like a double kill. Impact dodging the long arm of the low. And I would have seen like a lot of people that would have just like here engaged with the Energy Lance immediately on the Shinbi. But that means that you have nothing to peel afterwards or saying, and here Penguin just like walk in melee range, use the Psychic Flare. If the Shinbi was going to try to disengage, then he has the Energy Lance. Here the dual lane is gonna try to fight, but we use the Hyperflux. Now we get the Energy Lance, and that should be like a dead thing. And here you can see like the strengths of first like having level advantage, but also the item advantage. Here Ertoka and Two Hands making a big mistake thinking they can get the 2v2 even because they get like the element of surprise, but no, like the item discrepancy, the level discrepancy was way too much for them to try to fight that, and they had to pay the price. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched Penguin play, really, like watching his own gameplay, and I love how he has this discipline of keeping his abilities for the right moment to try to have the maximum impact instead of just like spamming all his buttons. And here they see that the Fae is on the dual lane, so they're just gonna go for the mid lane, try to apply some pressure here. The Fae apparently like is winning the 1v2, so this dual lane is so far behind that they cannot even really like fight. And so now we're gonna secure also the tier 1 tower in mid lane. And once again, you see how Penguin play behind his Murdoch. He doesn't like help really with the clear because it's much more important here when you're in the mid lane to create some space so he can pull back Murdoch in case of anything like bad happen.
Things don't have to be complicated.
And we're going for the Galaxy Grave, I think, second item. We have the Polar Thread already completed. And now we're working towards a little bit more. And yeah, it's gonna be the Galaxy Grave. Little thing here since you got okay decent mana regen. The +2 is not correct because unfortunately on the replay system stat doesn't get updated, but it's a lot more than that with the Marshall plus thing. And here we're gonna try to get like the root. We got the root, but there is nothing to be gained after that root has been completed. Even if you walk forward, the only thing that would happen if you walk forward here is that you risk getting counter engage. So he just get the root, but then he understand that he cannot really like benefit from the additional damage from the root from Energy Lens, so he doesn't step forward and he just like keep doing the smart play. Fengtus is going to respawn, so they got priority in mid lane, priority on dual lane thanks to the 2 tower being taken, so they're gonna like rotate towards that direction. Gonna try to apply a little bit of pressure, get some deep wards here to have like full information of where the enemy team is before they want to pull the Fengtus, and they still have a little bit of time before the Fengtus respawns, so let's steal this recamp for good measure. Fengtus is up, but first we're gonna look at baiting maybe a little bit. Murdoch getting the attack speed. And here we're looking. We have some information. Here they're trying to go in. We're gonna try like to root people away. He get targeted, so forced to use the Hyperflux, run into his teammate, use the Psychic Flare at the opportune moment, and now he's keep positioning himself in the back line. He has been targeting, but now it's almost impossible for them to target him, so now he can walk forward, Energy Lens is back, get a little bit of slow, force the flash away. And as you can see, also like the ability of keeping your abilities when you're not sure or guaranteed that what you're like how the fight is going to look like, allow you to be able to react here. When he got jumped down, he still has everything up. He still has the Hyperflux, he still has the Psychic Flare, which create like the dive on himself very much more complicated to do, because suddenly you dive on a phase and the phase like blind you and immediately also start to walk super fast into the movement seat from Hyperflux. And yeah, Penguin takes some good damage, but not enough to actually kill him. And so then once we manage to get the Shinbi off of him, there is no more dive, and now he's like completely free to do the rest of the team fight. So we are still working towards this Galaxy trade. We have the crest that has been finished. We have opted for the Silencium. I guess the Silencium very good against the Crunch. Can be also like pretty decently good against the Shinbi. And once again, another tool to help peeling in the backline for himself. Also, Silencium is a good way to add like a little bit of burst damage, since you deal damage on top of the silence and you combine that with the Psychic Flare damage. It's actually like quite a lot. And so as a phase, overall, you have a very passive play style. But that's what a Shunter should be doing. Like, you don't really like go for too of you shouldn't be like too aggressive overall. You should be like looking. Here you can see like we tanked a little bit. Here people go on him. Maybe he was a little bit out of position. He gets focused on. He tried to go back to his team. He's probably gonna die here because he was a little bit like too forward. but at least to tank like the ultimate. The rest of the fight, we get the Murdoch flashing, a little bit tough to watch. And we're gonna get the revive. Moros is at 1 HP, but they're gonna secure the kill. We have like people getting very low on both sides. We do secure though like the mini prime for power only. Impact is 1 HP. We're gonna try to go for the Phantom Rush, and now we have the Terra chasing that Zinx. She get the double stun, so that should be... Ooh, we got the flash for the subjugate. Get the slow. Should be a kill. Ooh, we miss. We missed the Siphon, unfortunately. So here, you can see how positioning as a support is crucial. Because here, he was gathering information, but then he got surprised because the crunch got on the entry on the other side. And so then he could get dove on. And since he didn't have the Galaxy Grave finish at that point, he couldn't really like reposition himself as good as he was expecting to. And naturally, like even after the flash, then he got dive a second time and he ends up dying. So kind of a little comeback for the enemy team, but still they got the objective, and it still like was quite even in terms of kill, but they got like the shutdown onto Neft, which was very, very important for the downside. Also, there is one thing here that we can see that naturally when you play with someone you know, here it's Neft. One thing that can be like a little bit frustrating when you play a phase is that you're kind of stuck to support your carry. That's what like FaZe does. She's very good at that, but she cannot really like impact the map by herself. So you also need like a carry that understands that it needs to maybe sometimes move around the map so you can actually enact your potential. And this is why here we see the dual lane playing mid lane and actually like have swap with the Faye. So actually this phase has a more central point, and it's like safer for Murdoch phase to be mid lane at the 17-minute marks than it is for a Faye to actually like walk in the mid lane. And so you create like more pressure on the map, more impact, while it's also like allowing your mid lane to farm pretty safely and still like getting a very high amount of resources.
An allied tower is under attack.
So here we're looking for the Fangtus to respawn. That's mainly what the team are looking for. Of course, on the Dusk side, we're looking for the triple Fangtus. On the side of the Dawn side, we want to deny this triple Fangtus. We do have the Terra split pushing, so the Terra won't be available for that fight. Here, the enemy team has entered the pit. Fangtus is dying quite quickly. And they actually didn't manage like to secure it, so here we're gonna get like a little bit of damage. Once again, we don't really like dive fully in the backline here. We want to protect a little bit. We're gonna get the Psychic Flare to try to get some damage, try to protect. We get the pull, and then we body block the dash to save the Fae. Very well play of Penguin, which, like I was saying, like you need to usually most of the time protect your carry, but here Penguin realized that the Fae needs his attention, so he goes there. Once again, he doesn't like press button too fast. He first like use the Psychic Flare to try to make the life complicated for the crunch, and once the crunch like commit towards the Fae, then he used the pull. A lot of people would have used the pull immediately, then the Crush would just have to dash to actually catch up and kill the Fae. And then I love how he understands that he's gonna go for the step forward and actually cover with his own body to block the dash. And so here we're gonna back to base and we're gonna reset for the rest of the match. And so we're gonna come back to lane. What we're walking towards, dive and rest, so we get a little bit of heal and shield power, still more mana regen from the Mystical Cane. And here team might be looking for the ore prime, but no team is ahead to the point that they can actually like just force the ore prime at 20 minutes. So it's more like gonna be like a positional battle. Here as a support, we can see that since the next target is the ore prime, we're gonna see Penguin gonna make his way towards this zone of the map and trying to get some warding down, taking advantage of the Soulstone ward, which is an important role when you're a support to keep the vision up for your team around the key objectives. And once again here, you have to play slow. You cannot like really engage as an enchanter. You have to play with your team, always like be around them. Your job is mainly to peel and not really that much to go in. So here Spar only is the Sevrog. The main engage Terra can be. You have to be careful. We get like the dash of the Crunch trying to go onto the Sevrog. Here we're gonna shift to the Sev simply to get like a little bit of healing down. And then we go back to the carry. And here it's the moment that is very, very intense. Each team are looking for the mistake of the enemy team, the little entry point. Here we can see that they're looking very aggressively towards the Terra. A lot of people have committed there. Terra is gonna end up dying, so that's probably gonna be like this moment for a fight. We try to go for the Crunch. We get like a very nice fly trap, but we got the rewind. And here we see like we stay in the backline. Like the job as the Enchanter is really to be in the backline, but then we get like the turn. They're going like really onto him. Penguin is gonna try, and you can see how patient it was. Like a lot of people would have just panicked and used the Galaxy Grief immediately, but Penguin realized like, no, I'm not dead, I can wait, and then he used a Galaxy Grief to reposition himself through the fog wall, through the ledge. And that's really like something that I feel like Penguin is very good at, is like this patience, like understanding the situation, understanding when and where he has to use his ability, even like as much as a jump from the Galaxy Grief, really like waiting for the opportune moment to use those things, making him as hard to kill and allowing him to survive long enough in teamfight, but also keeping as many abilities as he can to peel for his allies. So here we actually managed to, like, we lose 2 for 1, so it's an okay trade for the side of Dawn, but we actually like stopped them from fully rolling over thanks to that early kill on the Terra. That wasn't really costly. And now we do get the Wine Collar being secured. So Wine Collar is an item that when you heal or shield an ally, you will get movement speed. And the movement speed gain is quite substantial. It's 12 seconds. The problem is like it has an 8-second cooldown that makes it that for 1.5 seconds uptime, makes it a little bit hard to have like a lot of movement speed. But on the phase, what you can do, since the cooldown is per target, you actually can use like the heal by just using a spell when you link to someone, and then you relink to someone else to be able to just like get the Wind Collar again. And that also like help to peel for your teammate. You can give Wind Collar to multiple people, create a lot of move speed, since like relinking doesn't have any CD. So with that you can actually like pretty easily get the Wind Collar bonus like 2 or 3 times per team fight. Here once again, see Penguin spacing himself always properly from the Murloc. That's also something that you need to get into the habit when you play phase, is always keep some distance from the person you are linked to. I see so many phase that just play like very stick to their teammate, and then when they get jumped on and surprised, they cannot pull. So like the easy solution for that is just like get into the habit to create some distance between you and the person you are linked to. So even if you get surprised, and it's gonna happen in Predecessor, Predecessor is a very fast-paced game, so even if you get surprised, just press one button and you can like save your teammates. You don't have to reposition yourself. Also, that will naturally like stop like AoE CC that can actually CC both you and the target you are linked with. So that's something that Penguin does very well, and that's something that you can practice in your own game also. Always keep some distance between your target and yourself. And so here we're gonna secure the O Prime, plus the Primal Fangtooth. It's triple Fangtooth. We have double buff. It should definitely like be game here if nobody on the Dusk side does a very, very bad mistake. So here we see that the team is gonna reset, and so we reset with Neft, gonna buy a little bit of itemization. I think we're working towards the Spellbreaker here from what I'm seeing, to get like the bubble to protect yourself against maybe some damage, because it's magical armor. Also you nullify like one ability for the enemy team. I don't think it's that much for the anti-CC, and here I think the enemy team has decided to surrender because they think it's gonna be the end. So that will be it for this video. As you have seen, as a support, usually it's nothing too flashy. It's just like being mindful of when to use your ability, really respecting the timing, not panicking, and always be positioned well. Like we see, we have one death from Penguin. It's because one time he overstepped in the mini prime, but all the rest of the game was kind of flawless. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you in the next video.